Keep living the adventure. Axis of Awesome. What's up, adventurers? Time for another basic build. Today we're going to be converting this Zurg figure from the Buzz Lightyear series into a new villain for a photo story I'm working on. So a lot of you guys are familiar with the Zurg figure. It's a pretty giant figure, well made, cool, customizable figure from Mattel. A lot of people have done customs with it. Notably, Sergeant Soldier is the first person I saw that used, I think he used the actual robots, not the Zurg. And Adam from G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles did one as well for Super G.I. Joe line of figures. So today I'm going to be doing a little bit different take. Where those guys mounted a vintage G.I. Joe head, I'm going to use this figure here from Scott Greer that he sent me. And we're going to mount it to the Zurg figure and paint it and custom decal it. And I think it's going to be a pretty cool, simple, basic build, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. So pause the video, pop this figure out, and talk about what we're going to do to him. All right, welcome back, guys. So the first step we're going to go with is taking this Zurg head off. Now, I did some exploratory cutting on it. It's on a plastic piece that's on a ball joint. And I tried heating the head up to try to pop it off, but it's not going to work. The goal is to get it off, to expose the ball joint under the head, and we can pop this head that Scott Greer made for me on there. But I think what we're going to have to do is get a Dremel and kind of cut into that and take it off that way, because this thing looks pretty tough. So we'll pause the video and try to do some destructive removal on this guy. Hi gang, welcome back. So wow, this head was a pain in the butt to get off. It's pretty gnarly. It's got this piece of plastic here that is on that ball joint, and it was a pain in the butt. I had to do Dremel and a bunch of other crap, so Zurg's head's dead. So the next step, I gotta clean that up with a little sandpaper. The next step is pretty simple. So this ball joint, my plan was that this head was gonna fit right on there, but it doesn't actually. The ball joint sits too low on the head. So what I'm going to try to do, if I think I can, I'm going to cut off this ball joint somewhere about where the ball is and extend it up with some tube styrene and get it high enough to where the head looks just about right. The ball will be in the head just about right. And then I'll go back and I'll build up mill put to form out some kind of neck. So his head will kind of look like this. And hopefully it moves around on the ball. It's my plan. So as far as painting this guy goes, I'm taping off the areas that are this nice gray. I really like that accent on this figure, but I'm going to paint the purple, and I'm going to paint it a certain color. When we come back, I've got it ordered from Amazon actually, so when we come back, hopefully the paint's in and we can discuss how we're going to paint this guy a little more. But the key thing is the head's done and removed, so now we've just got to get this neck just right so this guy's head sits there, and then we can begin really figuring out how we're going to fine detail this figure. Stay tuned. Again, welcome back. So while we're waiting for the paint to come in to do the body for this figure, by the way, I didn't tell you what the figure's name was. I guess I did in the title block. Overlord is his name. He's for a photo story I have coming, so hopefully by the time this airs, the photo store will have aired. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't really matter to me. But anyways, so I'm going to paint this head, and I got this Vallejo skin tone set. And I've been wanting to use this for a while now. So now I have this head, this project, and the paints. I can really get to crack-a-lacking on fleshing this figure out. I'm not going to airbrush him. I'm just going to actually do it by hand. And I hope it works out. And obviously, we're going to finish out the mechanical portions here with some kind of metallic paint of some kind, maybe like a gunmetal. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to coat this guy in a base coat. So we'll paint like a black or a gray, I think, on this figure to kind of give him like an acrylic base coat to help the paint adhere a little bit better. So that's what's going on with this right now. We'll start working on this head and get this thing all painted up. Just kind of show it to you in stages how I'm going to do it, so you guys can get a kind of an idea what this guy's going to look like. All right, guys, welcome back. So we've got the head removed, of course. So we're going to talk about paint on this guy. So you guys saw my Firestar 1 build, which was built off of a Fisher-Price Buzz Lightyear platform. Same style of figure, same plastic, whatnot, and we're going to use the same style of paint. So we're going to use this VHT vinyl dye, but this time in silver. So my goal is to, like I said earlier, tape off the areas here that are gray, because I like the contrast, and then we'll spray paint this whole body that silver color. We'll do some accents up top here, but that's what we're going to do. So I'm already in the process now of taping off the body and whatnot. And while I'm doing that, I'll also end up doing the head. So when we come back, I'll probably have this ball joint cut off, and we'll get everything, I'll have this ball joint cut off, and we'll kind of get figured out how we're going to start mounting this cool head from Scott Greer on this figure. So we'll be back in a bit. All right, guys, welcome back. So we've got most of the body taped off, and also I went ahead and began the process of doing the head. So like I mentioned earlier, what I'm going to do is got it kind of dry fitted on here. I cut that neck post off about halfway up. Then I took some styrene, about 1/4 inch styrene, and then I just pinned it on either end. So here's the ball with a little bit of tape around it to secure the head. And you can see it turned out pretty well. So it's kind of like measured as best I could to kind of get a rough dimension for how I wanted the head to kind of fit on there. It actually sits down in there a lot better, but I'm letting some glue dry on this neck post. But you can kind of get a good idea of what this guy's going to look like. Pretty cool, I think. So the next thing I want to do is take some aluminum foil and build out a neck here. So I want to give this some volume, and then I'll coat it with mill put. When we get that all done, I'll kind of come back and show you what the foil looks like with the head attached. When we get that all done, we can start painting this guy up. I think it's going to be really cool. All right, guys, welcome back. So we're going to start working on this head. So the idea here is to paint up a pretty cool flesh tone, neat cyborg style head with this Scott Greer 3D printed sculpt. And what I'm going to do is first base coat it with some Vallejo white. So kind of help the flesh color, kind of blend in a little bit. So oops, got a little masking tape on that. Apologies. So I just like to go ahead and just brush it on. The coating doesn't have to be too great. We'll just get a good base coat on there. Then we can start detail painting this head. So some guys like to use airbrushes. I don't have a really good airbrush set up for acrylic, and frankly, I'm not even sure how this custom's going to turn out, so I'm just going to do it the way I always kind of do things, which is by hand. And there's a lot of other ultra talented dudes out there that can airbrush the shit out of stuff, but that's just not me, man. I'm still old school in a lot of ways. So anyways, we'll go ahead and base coat this thing, let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some fine flesh tones. All right, welcome back, guys. So I started sculpting the neck portion, so you can see here, it's pretty cool. What I did, like I explained earlier, is I built that peg up, and then I wrapped this in aluminum foil and masking tape, build it out just a little bit, and I plopped the head down on it to make sure it looked good. And then I grabbed some mill putt here, mixed it up, and threw it on here and started sculpting it with my handy dandy Kane Productions sculpting tool set. And the key to doing any kind of sculpting with mill putt is it's water soluble when you can work with it, or as you work with it. So you can coat it with water and smooth it out. So you can see what I've done here. It's almost finished. I've given it kind of a biometric look to it on the neck. So I think it turned out pretty well. I've got some rough, fine work to do to smooth it out on the back. And then, of course, we'll pop the head on there and knock it all the way down. That's what it's going to look like. Then we'll paint it. But yeah, this is almost done. The body is completely taped off as well for what I'm going to paint. So we're going to finish this up, let it cure, then paint the body. And then we'll finish up this head. And we should be close to having this cool custom Overlord figure done. All right, guys, here's a little progress update. So the figure is ready for paint. I'm letting the mill putt cure, and then I'm starting to final paint the head. So I think this is going to be a super dope figure. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, guys. So here we are. We got the Overlord body all completely taped up and ready for paint. I've almost got the head final painted, and we'll be working on that here in a little while. I've got the base coat on his little eye mechanism, and I need to finish him up, so put him off to the side. And we've got our VHT silver vinyl dye for this cool body. So how about we go ahead and paint this dude up, man, and see how it turns out. I'm pretty excited. All right, guys, here it is. So apologies, I was going to videotape me spray painting this, but my phone died. So we're back, and this vinyl dye looks super dope on this suit. This is great. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Great coverage. What a great sheen. If you guys haven't tried this stuff, I definitely would suggest it. It's got an awesome coverage, and it doesn't run or anything. It's just super cool. It's fast drying. So yeah, our Overlord power suit is just about finished. Got some more coats of paint to put on this, but and we've got some decals, obviously, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back, guys. So here he is, Overlord, completed. So, turned out really well. I like the way it turned out for the most part. I think the neck, still kind of torn on the neck because I think it's a little tall, but I also realize that relative to how the head on Zorg looked, it might look a little odd, but I'm going to roll with it and keep it the way it is. You can see the head. I got it all painted up the best I could. Gave the biomechanical cyborg portion targeting system here kind of a nice, cool look to it. I went ahead and I kind of dry brushed some detailing on the gray parts, and I left the feet the way they came on Zorg. I think that's his name, but I like the way this thing really turned out. The head that Scott Greer made me really brings this figure to life, I think. Now this is going to be, by the time this video airs, in a photo story, Project Armstark. So I don't have the decals quite ready for this guy, but all you guys who've watched that photo story know that he is a villain, and kind of a continuation of Adam and I's 0 Point photo story, or our time continuum. So I really like this guy. It's really cool. These figures are really, really cheap, and they make great platforms to make custom villains or superhero figures or whatever you want to do. I know Adam's made his G.I. Joe super suit for his Super Joes out of one of these. So recapping what we did, we took Buzz Lightyear, Zorg, Emperor Zorg, or whatever the hell he's called, figure from Mattel, popped off the head. I got this really cool 3D printed head from Scott Greer. I made the neck out of poly clay and foil, and I painted this guy with the VHT vinyl dye in silver, and I created this really cool Overlord figure, Nazi villain, for my photo story. And I think it turned out great. I'm really anxious to see what you guys think about this. So this is another Basic Builds. I guess I'm calling this Basic Builds Villains Part 3, Overlord. And this wraps up the video. Sorry again for not showing you guys how I painted it on camera. It's just a snafu. Happens every once in a while. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe to the page. Leave the comments what you think about this figure, if you've done some of these figures on your own. And share the video. And in the meantime, guys, keep living the adventure, and cheers.